Hey there guys, welcome to the next time-lapse here on the channel. Going to be working on a Sonic time-lapse for this video. It's been a little while since I did something related to Sonic the Hedgehog. It's always one of my favorite characters to work with on the channel regarding, characters from the Sonic universe. He's one of the most popular characters I've done over the past few years or so. I did make a Sonic series of wallets a while back for one of the first few collections volumes, which reminds me I probably need to film another collections volume pretty soon, so I'll complete a few things and definitely get that ready for some sort of collections volume coming pretty soon. So we're going to work on this part first. I'm not actually going to be working on the traditional Sonic. This one's going to be a gold Sonic. I'm using the yellow duct tape for this, obviously. Now this is a picture of him in his normal, blue color. So I'm going to be just redoing the color a little bit and seeing how it looks, because this is kind of the casual stance that Sonic has. If you go online and you Google image, just Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a whole bunch of different cool ways that you can make this time lapse in this painting. But if you kind of Google the gold Sonic, there's not as many different poses or just ways that you can cut out the tape to make it look like this. So what I did was I just cut out the image and I'm just switching the colors, and that's kind of the easiest way to get around that disadvantage there. So working on his eyes first, this is going to be one giant puzzle decoration. There's not going to be too much layering on it. And of course the biggest issue when you're working on puzzle decoration is making sure all the pieces fit together without there being the background color shining through, which is kind of one of the issues that you typically face with puzzle decoration. Because if you don't cut it exactly the same or exactly perfectly, it's not going to cover up the hole that you have very well. So you kind of have to either cut the area a little bit bigger so that it kind of fits into the image well, otherwise it's just not going to work. And you kind of have to maneuver it a little bit just to make sure that it covers up the entire area. So working on the part of his body next, of course this would normally be the blue tape, but working on the gold, of course, and more specifically the yellow for this. I'm just going to stick these pieces down. I'm not exactly sure if they're going to end up there. They probably aren't, and I can say that they guarantee you that they aren't going to because I moved them later on. But this is just to give me an idea of what the entire image looks like. Really, all the images that are going to be fit into that piece are kind of going to be my guidelines on where to eventually put those yellow pieces. So my printer didn't do an exactly very good job on this, so I kind of had to take a pen and kind of freehand exactly where all the other pieces were, and then put a little X where the pieces that need to be with the background color kind of shining through. Definitely didn't do a very good job of cutting out all those or printing out all those little lines and everything. So now you can kind of see there's a lot of blue underneath his mouth there. You could just barely see it for a second there. And of course I'm going to maneuver the bottom part a little bit so that it's kind of right up against that part of the mouth. That's kind of just one of the few things that you have to do when you're working on puzzle decoration. It's just one of the things you have to work on. That's of course his signature smirk right about there. Of course that's his black nose. And it wouldn't be Sonic without that smirk right there in the center. Always add that. It's one of my favorite parts to add to all the different Sonic characters I've made over the years. So this is going to be his glove. It should be his left hand, I believe, if I'm looking at the image correctly. And this one's going to fit right into the right part of the image there. This should be either his left or his right. Typically he crosses his hands, but it looks like this is just his left hand for this one. A lot of the images I've done in the past have been with him actually crossing his arms and his hands, or his gloves, so it's kind of interesting to do a little bit of a different one here. So working on a little bit of the highlight for his nose, and I'm going to leave out the little highlights inside of his eyes because I think it looked better with just the solid black eyes, but you guys can debate over that a little bit if you want to. I think it looked better with just the solid black eyes. So there's a little bit of the highlight for the nose, making sure that's cut out. Using a lot of packaging tape for this video. There will be 2 informational videos coming tomorrow, kind of like 2 mini tutorials, and then another major tutorial coming within the next few days. I do get a lot of questions on how to cut the tape really well, and then also how to use the packaging tape. So there should be 2 videos for each of those 2 different things coming tomorrow. I'll kind of go over all the tips and the tricks and all that cool stuff that has to do with cutting tape and using packaging tape. It's going to be really interesting. As you can tell, I definitely use a lot of packaging tape in my time lapses. It's definitely one of the lifesavers when it comes to using duct tape and cutting things out of different paper templates like this. And I remember way back in the day, long before I used the packaging tape, it was much more difficult. It just took forever. And I'm surprised that some of the things I made back in the day actually came out fairly well, even though I wasn't using any packaging tape. It really makes me wonder sometimes. So working on the part of his glove, which was that left piece, and this is of course like the kind of his socks. And now of course I'm working on his red shoes. The first time that you actually get to see the red color, it's kind of that bright color red. It's a great contrast for the rest of the design. So there's the bottom part of his shoe. You can really only see the one, that left part is actually the bottom, the kind of the side piece of his other shoe. So now of course we have the white parts in between, which are his socks, and of course the stripe on the one shoe, and then there's a little bit of a highlight, which you can see right there. So there's the one part. I'm going to peel these up, and I'm going to stick them down right about there, and then right about there, that's the other part of his shoe. So it's hiding behind the other one. So now sticking on this shadow, which is cut out of the black tape, it's kind of a neat 3D contrast, and there you can see the entire logo. So it definitely looks pretty cool. I hope you guys like this Sonic time-lapse with the gold Sonic. And there'll be 2 videos coming tomorrow, so watch out for those. I'll catch you next time on the channel. Hope you liked the video.